Hi, my name is Alex. I'm almost 30. And I often hear people say, revenge is destructive. It eats you from the inside. But people who say that, they've never really suffered. They never lost someone they loved. Never sat in silence while the only sound left in the house was someone's scream fading into nothing. My story? It lasted 15 years. 15 years of hate, of silence, of planning. And today, I'll tell you how I made her feel. Every single thing I lived through. I never knew my father. Not even a picture. He was just a mistake. Some drunken hookup at a party. My mom told me herself, "You were my first, but never loved." As if I wasn't a child, just a problem she couldn't get rid of. I was raised by my grandparents. Sweet, quiet people. They fed me soup, played cartoons, gave me warmth. Until the day my mom said, "It's time I take responsibility." I was 6. She took me back. 2 years later, she gave birth to Danny, my little brother. Different dad, who left a month after Danny was born. But this time, she became a different woman. She sang lullabies. She smiled. She kissed his forehead. And me? She screamed at me for breathing too loud. She pushed me if I looked at her wrong. She called me names I didn't even understand back then. Danny got toys. I got chores. By the age of 10, I was doing laundry, washing dishes, vacuuming the whole apartment. Because, as she said, real men help around the house. But I didn't hate Danny. Not for a second. I loved him. He was the only warmth in that house. He used to sneak me candy when mom wasn't looking, let me play on his game console. Even when she said it was his only gift. He'd ask if my bruises hurt. He'd whisper at night, "You're my real brother. She just doesn't know how to be a mom." He was kind, too kind for this house. I was 13. I came home from school and I saw him. Danny, lying on the floor, eyes rolled back, foam at his mouth. I called 911. I shook him, screamed his name, but he didn't respond. Later they said he'd gotten into mom's pills, strong prescription meds. She kept them in the open, right there on the kitchen counter. She said they helped her sleep. Sometimes she mixed them with alcohol. Sometimes she just forgot they existed. Danny died on the way to the hospital. There was an investigation. Child Protective Services came. There were interviews, paperwork, visits, but she had her story ready. "I had no idea he took them. I was at work. It was a horrible accident." And that was that. The meds were prescribed to her. There was no proof she gave them to him. They called it a tragedy, an accident. But I knew. I knew she wasn't at work. She was asleep, drunk, like always. And that night, I made a promise. I didn't cry. I just sat there, still, hollow, and I whispered, "One day, you'll feel what I feel, but worse, longer, deeper." I wasn't strong. I wasn't brave. I wasn't grown. But I had something she didn't. Memory and patience. You might ask, didn't anyone notice? The neighbors, the teachers, they did. A little. Once I showed up at school with a black eye. The counselor pulled me aside, asked what happened. I said I fell. I lied. I was 11, too scared to tell the truth. Too scared it would only get worse. Child Services came twice. She knew how to play the game. She cleaned the place, hid the alcohol, hung Danny's school awards on the wall, and smiled. They left. An hour later, she was drunk again, throwing an ashtray at my head. In a system like that, you stop believing in help. You just wait, quietly, until you're old enough to fight back. The shift. After the funeral, I sat alone on my bed. I didn't cry, not a single tear. I just stared at the wall, feeling nothing. A hole where my chest should have been. And I said it out loud, "I will make you feel it. All of it, only slower and harder." I wasn't strong, but I didn't need to be. I just needed time. I stayed quiet. I studied. I watched. She dumped me back on my grandma again, but I stayed nearby. Sometimes I'd visit with groceries, offer help, steal documents, observe her patterns, people, passwords, habits. At 17, I made my first move. She slipped on the stairs and broke her leg. I offered to help, said I'd take care of her every night. But when the pain peaked, I forgot to bring her meds. I sat beside her, watched her writhe, and whispered, "There you go, helpless." Just like he was. She looked at me with hatred, but said nothing. She couldn't. She'd signed the care papers herself. After that, I did more. Little things, but they added up. I deleted her resume from job sites, faked a few documents so she wouldn't get hired. I filed anonymous complaints. Twice, social workers came again. Found nothing, but slowly, she lost everything. Her job, her money, her so-called friends. She blamed the world, she blamed luck, she never once blamed herself. And I studied, worked, saved. Step by step, I built a life, while hers quietly crumbled. At 28, I returned to the city. I had a career, a girlfriend, a car. I was whole, confident, free. And then I saw her, sitting on a bench outside a supermarket, gray, thin, a bottle of cheap wine in her hand. She didn't recognize me at first. Then she rushed up, started talking, that she missed me, that she wanted to fix things, that I was her son. I said nothing. The next day, she came to my door. I opened. She looked broken, smaller somehow. Then she fell to her knees. Yes, actually on her knees. "Alex, I have nowhere to go. I haven't eaten in 3 days. I was a terrible mother. Please, forgive me." And for the first time in 15 years, I felt something. Not joy, not rage, just peace. Cold, quiet peace. I looked her in the eyes and said, "You want forgiveness? There isn't any. It died with Danny, just like the last part of me that ever cared. Now leave and don't ever come back." I closed the door, slowly, without a word. She stood there. I could hear her sniffling behind the door. But I didn't open it. You might ask, was it worth it? 15 years, so much time, so much silence. And yeah, it was, because now I'm free. I did it. I didn't forget. I didn't forgive. I just survived and gave it all back. That's the end of the story, and what a story it is. A life full of pain, of silence, of vengeance. It's hard to judge the guy. I mean, how do you weigh justice when no one else gave it to you? Yes, his actions were harsh, cruel even, but can you really blame someone who spent his entire childhood drowning in neglect? Don't get me wrong, what his mother did? Unforgivable. People like that deserve prison, and so do the broken systems that failed to protect him. But still, you could feel it. Throughout the story, that quiet wish, that she would die. He didn't have to love her, but what he did in return, that's not so easy to defend either. What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments. We read them all. And if this story hit you, don't forget to subscribe. We've got more like this coming soon. Take care and see you next time.